Hello guys, today we are going to discuss one interview question which is asked by Microsoft, and this question is available on the Strata Scratch platform. We are going to solve this question with the help of Python programming. So first of all, let's discuss the question and make some strategy to solve it. So the question is, we have a list of projects and the employees mapped to each project. What do we need to calculate? The amount of project budget allocated to each employee. Okay, what we need to calculate? We need to consider this line, the amount of budget allocated to each employee, right? So output should include the project title and the project budget. Project title and the project budget. We need only two columns in the output. So the last line is order your list by projects with the highest budget per employee first. Then we are able to use the sort values function to sort the data, right? Now, first of all, how many tables we have? We have two tables. One is named as MS project and second is MS EMP projects. Now, MS projects consist of three columns: ID, title, budget. Means what we have: the project ID, project name, and the budget allocated to each project. Okay. Now the second table. Second table consists of two columns: employee ID and the project ID. Means each employee is associated with each project. Okay, each employee is associated with each project. Okay. Now, first of all, we need to see what do we need. We need the amount of project budget allocated to each employee. Okay, means how much money they have allocated to each employee to finish that particular project which is assigned. Okay, now first of all, our very first step is to calculate the number of employees associated with each project. Okay, number of employees associated to each project. So for that purpose, which table we are going to use? This one. Okay. After calculating the number of employees associated to each project, then we are going to calculate the budget which is provided by the company to each employee. Okay. The budget provided by the company to each employee, right? For that purpose, what do we need? Our budget is present in the second table, that is MS projects, and number of employees are in the MSM project table. Now, first of all, we are going to join these two tables. Now, what is the common element? That is the project ID. Project ID is common. So, we are going to join these two tables. Now, after joining these two tables, we have the budget which is associated to each project and the number of employees associated to each project. Okay, now we have both these columns in one table after joining them. Now we are going to make one more column in the table of calculating the budget associated to each employee. Then we are able to calculate. How? By dividing the total budget of the project to the number of employees associated to it. Okay. Now, next, after allocating the budget to each employee, then in the last step, what do we need? Order your list by projects with the highest budget per employee first. Okay, then what we are going to do, we are going to sort the values. Now sorting with respect to the budget allocated to each employee. Okay, sort the values according to the budget. Okay, these are the steps we are going to perform. Now let's write the code on Scratch platform. Now this is the interface of the Scratch. So I'm going to write the code. So this is the question, right? So first of all, I'm going to import the pandas library. Now, as we have already discussed, we have two data frames, two tables, MS projects and MSM projects. Okay, first of all, we are going to use MSM projects to calculate the number of employees associated to each project. Okay, I'm going to take one variable to store the name of this data frame. Okay, df1 I'm going to use group by on project ID to calculate the number of employees associated to each project. ID count. I'm going to reset the index to see the project ID and employee ID both. Okay, now let's see the output. So here, what we get? Project ID and the number of employees associated to each project ID. Okay. Now, the next step is we are going to join the two tables because our budget is in the second table. So we need to join the two tables to calculate the budget provided to each employee. Okay. Now, first of all, I'm going to merge. df1, comma, ms, project. Now, which is a common column? That is ID. Right? That is ID. So left on what is provided, that is project ID. Right on, that is ID. Now how do we join? That is inner join. Now let's see the output first. So what we have? Employee ID, which is the number of employees, and the budget. Okay. Now I'm going to make one more column which tells us the budget allocated to each employee. Right? So let's name budget employee. So how do we calculate? DF total budget, that is named as budget divided by the employee. See the output. So we have calculated the budget allocated to each employee. Okay. Now, if we see the question, what do we need? Budget, project budget rounded to the closest integer. Now, what we are going to use here? Round function. Now, let's see the output again. Now it is fine. Now we have calculated the budget allocated to each employee. Now, what do we need? In the output, what do we need? The project title and the project budget only. And order your list by the projects with the highest budget per employee first. Means we are going to use the sorting function here. And what we need? Only two columns, that is title and the budget. Means if we see this, what do we need? The title and the budget employee, right? Title and the budget associated to each employee. Now we are going to use the sorting function, that is sort value. Now, how do we sort? By budget M. So how do we sort? By budget M. Now, what do we want? The highest value first. The sort values by default gives you the order in ascending order. Means smallest value first and the highest value in the last. But what do we need? Highest value first. So we are going to write here ascending equal to false. Okay. Now let's run the code. Now you are able to see the value, title and the project allocated to each employee. Okay. I hope it is clear to all of you. So if you like my video, kindly share and subscribe my channel. Thank you.